sir, shall we start?
Yes.
A warm greetings to one and all present here. I, Mansi Jain, court officer for this round, welcomes you all to the preliminary round of the second National Virtual Moot Court competition. Before proceeding further, I would like to introduce the respected judge for preliminary round, Mr. Arijit Banerjee, sir. He is the founding partner of Hector Hendika Law Firm and a practicing advocate, a law graduate from Chaudhry Charan Singh University and enrolled as an advocate in the year 2009. He has represented many cases pan-India and has been acknowledged for his work. He has represented clients in any matters involving civil disputes, commercial disputes, and criminal offenses, and has been acknowledged by the clients for having secured favorable orders. Apart from litigation, Mr. Arijit Banerjee, sir, is also on the advisory to corporate clients involving in their day-to-day legal matters. Before starting up with Hector Hendika Law Chambers, he has worked with reputed lawyers and law firms. He has also been acknowledged by designated senior advocates for his drafting and briefing in the matters. Having a humble nature, he is a strong believer to constant persuasion and smart working, and is open to new challenges as and when offered. It is an honor, sir, to have you here with us today. And here I also welcome our participants. Before starting with the moot court competition, there are some rules which needs to be followed by the participants. Keep your videos on at all times during the moot. Each speaker has a time of 15 minutes. Rebuttals and sub-rebuttals for 2 minutes. That is 1 minute each for question and 1 minute each for answer. The first speaker can yield their time to the second speaker after they are done. Extra time may be granted by up to the discretion of judge. And the judge on his discretion is free to give the feedback after the speakers are done with their rounds. In case only one participant shows up, they will be judged in the similar manner as they would have been had their partner also been there. And now, last but not the least, participants are requested to maintain the decorum of this moot court. Wishing all the participants good luck. Now the first team may start with their proceedings.
Yeah. Who is starting? Is the petitioner who is taking the lead in the arguments?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yeah, it may the petitioner may start with their arguments.
Good morning to one and all present here. First of all, I would like to thank Tom George and Associates for giving us this opportunity even during the time of this pandemic. And I would like to start with that note. May it please this honorable court, this is the counsel appearing on behalf of the petitioner in the case Rainbow Non-Profit Organization versus Republic of Replamento. Would your lordship appreciate a brief perusal of the facts?
Yes.
The Republic of Replamento is the largest democracy within the world with a population of around 140 crores. The Republic of Replamento consists of individuals from different strata of the society people, from different religions, and from different educational and financial backgrounds, etc. The Republic of Replamento is thus a secular, socialist, economic, and democratic nation. For several years within Republic of Replamento, there existed a law which criminalized unnatural sexual intercourse, regardless of gender, with or without consent. This was the Anglican law opposed for centuries together by the LGBTQI community. The said law was condemned by various countries, and therefore the Republic of Replamento was termed as inhuman. And furthermore, various countries made public statements that said law was against the essential tenets of human rights. The highest court of Republic of Replamento thereafter held the right to privacy as a fundamental right, and furthermore held that as far because the said law criminalizes the consensual sexual acts of adults, that is, person about the age of 18 years who are competent to consent privately, as a violate of Articles 14, 15, 19, and 21 of the Constitution. However, within the said decision, the civil rights of the LGBTQI community was neither discussed nor upheld. Surprisingly, a few years later, a choice was born by the members of the LGBTQI plus community. Thereafter, various right petitions were filed before the varied high courts within the country to read the word person as defined under the Hindu Marriage Act 1955 and Special Marriage Act 1954, so as to include people of equivalent sex. Such right petitions opened floodgates regarding the grant of civil rights to the members of LGBTQIA plus community. The Republic of Replemento filed their reply opposing the same because it is against the cultures and ethos of the country. May I please move to the issues, Your Lordship?
Yes.
Much obliged. Your Lordship, the issues in the present cases are as follows. The first issue is whether or not Hindu Marriage Act 1955 and Special Marriage Act 1954 can be read in a manner to include members from LGBTQIA plus community. The second issue concerns whether or not civil rights can be granted to the members of the community. The third issue concerns whether or not customs, traditions, rites, rituals form an exhaustive code as contested by the Republic of Replemento. The fourth issue addresses whether or not members of the said community can be allowed to be married as per the rituals of their respective religions. I will be dealing with the first two issues in 10 minutes, and my co counsel will be arguing the third and fourth issue in the 10 minutes, reserving 10 minutes for rebuttals. Issue 1 deals with whether or not the Hindu Marriage Act 1955 and Special Marriage Act 1954 can be read in the manner to include members from LGBTQIA plus community. It is humbly submitted before the Honorable Supreme Court that Section 5 of Hindu Marriage Act provides marriage between any two Hindus. Your Lordship, here two Hindus can be read in a way to include LGBTQIA plus community. Your Lordship, further the Council submit that Hindu Marriage Act has been drafted in a way to include LGBTQIA plus community, and not including them would be violation to their fundamental rights. Your Lordship, the Council would now be arguing on the interpretation of the provisions of Special Marriage Act. The impulse provision here in Section 4, 5 and Schedule numbers 2 to 4 of the Special Marriage Act 1954 restrict the process of application, solemnization and registration of marriage under the Act of 1954 to heterosexual couples alone and exclude homosexual couples like that of the petitioner from its ambit. The impunged provisions has been interpreted in a favor of heterosexual couples only because the usage or construction of words like widow, widower, male, female, bride, bridegroom. This is an exclusion of homosexual couples from the ambit of the Act. The petitioners plead that such exclusion, even if it is not expressed by words but by implied intentions, amounts of discrimination and thus is unreasonable and unconstitutional to that extent. Petitioners submit that impulse provisions to the extent that it portrays heterosexual undertone, and thus it must be unconstitutional. The Honorable Supreme Court has, in Navdeep Singh Johar versus Union of India, recognized and declared that the person has right to sexually identify and be treated with dignity for the identification, no matter how a person self-determines one's own identity. That identity is to be protected and recognized equally without any discrimination. Any law that fails in its duty to protect one's self-determination of sexual identity and treat that identity with disrespectful, the individual choice and thus is considered irrational and manifestly arbitrary. Violating Article 14 and 21 of Constitution of India, the provisions of Special Marriage Act 1954, which are impunged here, therein fails to respect the individuality and identity of the homosexual and discriminates them by excluding them from the institution of marriage. Without any basis and by violating the constitutionally guaranteed fundamental rights, thus the impunged provisions of the Act 1954 must be held as irrational and manifestly arbitrary, thus violating 14 and 21 of the Constitution of India, to the extent that they allow access to the institution of marriage to only heterosexual couples. We declared unconstitutional, null and void, and are requested to be struck down. CGI Mishra in Navdeep Singh Supra opined that it has to be borne in mind that search for identity as a basic human ideal has reigned the mind of every individual in many a sphere of success, fame, economic prowess, political assertion, celebrity status, and social superiority, etc. But search of identity, in order to have opposite space in law, stands stigmas and stands fear, has to have the freedom of expression about his or her being, which is keenly associated with the constitutional concept of identity and dignity. When we talk about identity from the constitutional spectrum, it cannot be pigeonholed singularly on one's orientation. That may be associated with his or her birth and the feelings he or she develops when he or she grows up. Such a narrow perception may initially sound to be subversive, but the purpose of justice is on studying scrutiny. It is soon realized that limited recognition keeps the individual choice at bay. At the core of the concept of realize that the limited recognition keeps the individual choice at bay, identification lies in self-determination, realization of one's own abilities, visualizing the opportunities, and rejection of external views with a clear conscience that is in accord with constitutional norms and values. I would like to conclude this issue on the note that LGBTQI community is being wrongfully targeted and deprived of the freedom that to be which they are rightfully needed of, and they should be the members of the community where they belong. If your lordship is satisfied with the first issue, may I move to the next issue?
On the first issue, I want to ask you, when you said any Hindu under the Hindu Marriage Act,
Yes.
were you referring to Section 5?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now Section 5 says when you say about any Hindu, but here it is about the same sex marriage.
Yes,
But
sir.
out here it has been said about the bridegroom and the groom. So how can you say that it is on the any Hindu?
So this
Is the
all,
gender, there are different genders.
yes, sir.
So
This all, if I may, sir,
hmm,
all these constitutions were prepared in ancient India. They are like written in 1955 and 54 respectively. They all
hmm.
are ancient constitutions which are given terms like widow, widower, male, female, and bride and bridegroom to interpret the normal nomenclature and stereotypes which are like marriage, which is being like what marriage is known as to the people so far. But in 2018, after the Navtej Johar Singh case, it is allowed to each and every individual to have the right to select their own partner, may that be male or female. So the interpretation of bride and bridegroom has not is not the supreme and the end game. It any two Hindus mean they can be male or female and not biased towards only male and female.
That judgment stated that on the specific, like the religion doesn't, like under the religion on the Hindu Marriage Act or anything, the genders are the equal in it. So it cannot be on the differentiate of the different genders as mentioned in the different acts of the
Yes, sir.
religion acts, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Another thing I wanted to ask, in the Hindu Marriage Act, you are stating about, the rights of the bridegroom and all. Another thing I want to know about is that, now there was a latest judgment on the live-in relationship.
Yes, sir.
And my intention is asking on that, what about the maintenance? Because under Hindu Marriage Act also, there is a maintenance also, which says that, there, because you have to say, when you are saying about the Hindu Marriage Act as a complete thing, you have to also understand that it includes many things, so many other provisions also. So do you have any comment on that?
So live-in relationships have never been in our society and they are not accepted. Even LGBTQ was not accepted till Navtej Singh Johar case. I am looking forward to like see where
But there
when
is a
and
judgment, I believe, which says that if any couples, they are staying in a live-in relationship, the girl is entitled for a maintenance because it's presumed to be they are married.
exactly so.
So it is on the the maintenance on the right of the person, because if you are staying in a a relationship, impression, giving an impression of being married,
Yes.
so then it is a comes into the maintenance. So have you anything on that, like you want to like amend, like this will be amended or not?
I really the court has been biased at times for women and like they do not support modern ideas very quickly, but I think they should be not given maintenance. Both of them deserve equal rights and both of them are in that live-in relationship together, so I don't think they should provide any maintenance for a particular gender as such.
So you are saying that in if there is assuming if the law is amended, so there should be no maintenance provision in it.
No, if the girl and boy are both in consent
No,
to,
my question is that if presuming there is an amendment in the the Hindu Marriage Act, and
yes sir,
there is a recognition for the same gender marriage, so there should be no on the maintenance part.
yes sir,
There should be no provision regarding the maintenance as stated in the Hindu Marriage Act.
yes sir,
Okay, can we have point two?
yes sir, sure. Um, my second issue deals with whether or not civil rights can be granted to the members of the community.
Mhm.
It is humbly submitted before the Honorable Court that Section 377 offends the guarantee of equality enshrined in Article 17 under the fundamental rights to equality character of the Constitution because it creates unreasonable classification and targets homosexuals as a class. Public annoyance and disgust towards particular social group or vulnerable minority it held is not a valid ground for classification under Article 14. Article 15 of the Constitution forbids discrimination based on certain characteristics, including sex. The word sex includes not only biological sex but also sexual orientation, and therefore discrimination on the ground of sexual orientation is not permissible under the Act. Article 15. The right to life under Article 21 includes the right to health and concluded that Section 377 is independent to public health. An unanimous decision was passed in Navteej Singh Johar versus Union of India, where CGI Mishra called Section 377 IPC irrational, arbitrary, and incomprehensible, as it fetters the right to equality from the LGBTQI community. What society thinks has no right, no say on people's freedom. Justice Khaniwala, CGI Mishra, and Justice Malhotra opined that social morality cannot violate the rights of even one single individual. The society owes an apology to the LGBTQI community. They have been historically denied equal representation over the years. Even in Menka Gandhi versus the Union of India, there was a judgment passed where it clearly mentioned that India might not have adopted the American concept of due process of law. Nevertheless, the procedure established by the law should be fair and just, reasonable, and not arbitrary. The LGBTQI community deserves nothing less but the rights of freedom than what an Indian citizen does. They are to be included and obliged to get civil rights. If your lordship is satisfied with the second issue, may I ask my co-counsel to address the next issue?
I have question on the second issue also.
Yes, sir.
So now you are talking about rights.
Yes.
So now in the civil rights, there are many things, right to property, right to, living and everything. So all the judgment which you have stated, it says about the right for the, the having the independence,
Yes.
that of the
Freedom.
independence and abolition of Section 377, if I'm right.
Yes.
Yeah. So if a person is being a Hindu and, he's being from the LGBT community, where it states that he under the Hindu Succession Act he is not a Hindu. Do you think that on that his right under the Hindu Succession Act is hampered, or being an LGBT he is deprived of being Hindu?
No, sir, he is not deprived of being Hindu, but the stereotypical thoughts of the Hindu community, as such, by now, in minority or majority, they exclude them from their communities, which is not true, and that should not happen. But no, they do not they are not considered as out of a Hindu community.
No, that is individual to individual decision. You cannot generalize that. Given the case, there might be some. There are many of the the news where the couple, the parents of the couples, they have accepted them.
Yes.
There are many. There are other isolated issues where they have been deprived. There are many other instances not on the LGBT thing. It is what I mean to say is that it is about a personal choice of a person.
Yes.
Given the liberty and given the how that person has acquired that property.
Yes.
If it is a self-acquired property, then he is free to do. And if it is coming from an ancestral property, then it comes under the Succession Act, and then it is given the right how he is being. So my question is, when you say about civil rights, because civil rights is having a very broad decision, so I wanted to know that when you say about civil rights, what
Mhm.
civil rights you are pointing to in this
The
argument? What civil rights, which are the civil rights which are being deprived to the LGBT community, and what you think that which civil rights should be granted to them which they are being deprived of?
the civil rights of being included in their own community, the civil rights of getting married under their own religion and rituals, by their own religions and rituals, the civil right of creating a family and like having a family life, the uh, civil right of procreating, the civil right of getting married, the civil right of maintenance, the civil right of putting nominee as like husband or husband, like the second name also as a husband, they are not deprived of that too. They are not allowed to have the status of two same sex as of yet. The
Means asking, you
377.
want to say that it is your submissions are on that, that the civil rights, this your arguments are, you are forwarding it on the notion that the civil rights is on this on the matrimonial issues of the
And
LGBT community.
also on the grounds that they are right to given and form their community and right to have a say in it. Most of the time they are not even heard properly, so the basic rights to say, to express thoughts are also not given to them in abundance.
Okay, fine.
Thank you so much, sir. Now my co-counsel may continue the issue third and fourth.
I may continue from where my co-counsel left. I would be dealing with issues 3 and 4. Issue 3 states whether or not customs, traditions, rituals, rights form an exhaustive core as contested by Republic of Replemento. LGBTQI community has been treated poorly since many ages. Rights of
Excuse me, sorry to
LGBTQI.
stop you. Can you be clear? I am not able to hear you clearly.
Am I audible properly?
Yes.
Okay. Should I start again, sir?
Yeah, you may.
Okay. Uh, Issue 3 states whether or not customs, traditions, rituals, rights form an exhaustive code as contested by Republic of Replemento. The LGBTQI community has been treated poorly since many ages. Rights of LGBTQI plus have been violated, in most cases do not exist at all. It is also not surprising they are not treated as humans. Rights exist for a reason, and the reason is not present for the most of the time when the people belong to LGBTQI community. Customs, rights, ritual traditions have often mistreated the community of LGBTQI. So it is abominable to say that these rights, customs form a detailed or thorough study in the case of LGBTQI community plus. Uh, it was in the landmark judgment of Navdeep Singh Johar versus Union of India in 2019 that homosexuality was decriminalized and the community of LGBTQI were given basic rights. According to Section 3A of Hindu Marriage Act, it grants expression, customs, and usage to signify any rule which have been continuously and uniformly observed for a long time as obtained the force of law among Hindus in any local area, tribe, community, group, or family, provided that the rule is certain and not unreasonable or opposed to public policy. Provided that in the case a rule is applicable only to a family, it has not been discontinued by the family. Section 3A of Hindu Marriage Act clearly states that the rule should be certain and not unreasonable, should not be opposed to the public policy. But in this case, custom usage opposes the sexually minority community of LGBTQI+. From beginning itself, the community was treated poorly and was condemned for their sexuality for a long time. Customs of this great nation against LGBTQI has been shaped, molded, and influenced by the old colonial law of Section 377 of Indian Penal Code, which is taken from Bakari Act of 1533, which is an ancient act which was passed under the kingship of King Henry VII, which makes carnal intercourse a taboo. This now abolished section degraded LGBTQI community. The court in state of Kerala and another versus N.M. Thomas and others observed that Indian constitution is a great social document, almost revolutionary in its aim for transforming a medieval hierarchical society into a modern egalitarian democracy, and its provisions can be comprehended only by a spacious social science approach, not by pedantic traditional legalism. The whole idea of having a constitution is to guide the nation towards a splendid future, and thus it is humbly submitted to the Honorable Court that customs and usage do not form an exhaustive code as contested by the Republic of Replimento. If your lordship is satisfied with the third issue, may I move on to the next issue?
On this, I wanted to know, one question is that, is decriminalization of a particular section means that is a, because the meaning of decriminalization is that it won't be governed under the IPC. You won't be booked under any provision of the Indian Penal Code. But it doesn't mean that it is been recognized as a lawful act. You want to comment on it?
Sir, actually, you lagged a bit. Can you repeat the question?
My question is that in the, I think Navjit Singh judgment, which you were referring to, in that the Honorable Court has stated that, the section 377 has been decriminalized. So when you say about decriminalized, that means that anything which has been done under that is not coming under IPC. For example, if I say adultery earlier it was under a criminal offense, then it was decriminalized, which says that it is not under it will not be governed under any section of the Indian Penal Code. But does it mean it has been made a lawful thing?
I think yes, because many people were booked for LGBTQI only for expressing themselves, only for expressing the love they have for their own gender. Same-sex people, they are the like the same-sex gender. They are expressing their forms and everything. So yes, I think.
Yeah, Shruti, we are waiting.
Yes, sir. So, a person will not become an alien in his own community, and it would be accepted by, society at large if they are not booked under IPC of 377, which is now abolished.
Okay, we can move to the next issue.
Okay. My fourth issue deals with whether or not members from the said community can be allowed to be married as per the rituals of their respective religions. Members of the said community should be allowed to be married as per their rituals of respective religions because Article 25 Constitution India states freedom of concise and free profession, practice and propagation of religion, which subjects to public order, morality, health, and to other provisions to this part. All persons are equally entitled to this freedom of conscience and are right and the right to freely profess, practice, and propagate religion, also providing for social welfare and reform or throwing open of Hindu religious institutions of a public character to all classes and sections of Hindus. This right, being a fundamental right, is present with the citizen from birth, irrespective of gender, caste, place of birth, etc. Denial of this institution of marriage to the community and refusal of law to recognize and accept homosexual marital unions is also a violation of their right to freedom of expression guaranteed to them by Constitution of India under Article 19(1)(a) and 25. The community's right to expression of love in the form that they aspire to conduct will be meaningless if their marital union is not recognized by law. Expressions of love, growth of one's personality within a relationship, and development of an identity of union will be incomplete if the law refuses to recognize same-sex marriages, and thereby it affects the right guaranteed by Article 1(a) of Constitution of India. Right to companionship or partner or otherwise put as right to family is a pre-existing natural law right. Family is a basic building block of the society and is recognized in all constitutions all over the world in India. The same can be traced to Article 19(1)(c's guarantee of the citizen's right to form a union and Article 21's right to life guaranteed to any person. The LGBTQI community has right to family life and right to personal freedom. As rightly put up in case Kutuswamy Union of India versus Union of India, it said privacy includes at its core the preservation of personal intimacy, sanctity of family, marriage, procreation, home, and sexual orientation. The order also underlines the importance of personal choices governing the way of life and to live the way, and to live is to live with dignity. Dignity and equality cannot be separated from each other, as equal access and choice lead to dignity, respect, and stature in a society. Thus, it is humbly submitted to the Honorable Court that communities should be allowed to be married as per rites and rituals of the respective religions. On this note, I would like to conclude by saying that it is high time that we understand that they are one of us, meaning the community of LGBTQI is one of us, and we have to start including them and allowing them of each and every right and privilege they rightfully own but have been denied for a long period of time.
In this, I want to know, when you say about the law of dignity, I can understand that, what you said on your earlier submission, on the earlier point, that, just being expressive about, you being an LGBT, from LGBT community, you are facing harassment. So that comes under the definition of the right to the liberty. I should be having an expression. Now the this issue is regarding that, the marriage. By granting your submission is that by granting the right to marriage, then that is a right to dignity, which has been, you are stating that if the LGBT community gets the right to get married, like they have the right to get married, then that is a dignity towards them. That you are saying, right?
Yes, yes.
If I put in this way, that, it is not about the marriage, it is also about the individual thing also. It might be a choice of some person not getting married also. Somebody
Yes.
not getting married, but that should not hamper the dignity, right?
Yes, if I
So,
may say,
hmm.
okay. No.
No, you say.
Okay. So of course it is upon choice to choice if a person wants to marry a person or not a person. But the thing is, LGBTQI people who want to marry each other but are denied because the law does not the law only specifies heterosexual unions and not the homosexual unions. So at some point they are not recognized as a person. They are not recognized as merely human beings. The laws which are applicable to us, heterosexuals, should also be applicable to homosexuals as well. So yes, I think dignity, which I said, the part on dignity, the right to marry in homosexuals is also a part of dignity. It is true. I mean,
So
in
dignity
my
because dignity is, what I can say is that under the fundamental right, it's an individual right.
yes,
Every individual has a right to dignity, right to life, right to work. So the discrimination which comes down, that, if you are coming from a particular community, you are being discriminated. I won't be, this person are not being given work. Like, for example, in Indian Army, if you are coming from a LGBT community in Indian Army, they are not allowed to get into a to serve their nation, being their Indian citizen. So you have any submissions on that, when you're
yes,
saying about the dignity and all?
yes, sir.
Because the liberty is a very broad definition. Because when we talk about constitution, any article of the constitution, it is always having a very bright idea. You have to state that it is not about the it is about the individual rights. It's a marriage. These are all the part of the, the articles which gives you the, the power to exercise your right. But you have to, what are the definite, the broad aspect, which particular points which you are representing, which on which they are getting affected. So yeah, you want to say on that something?
Yes, if I may, Your Lordship. Uh, Of course, as you said, the LGBTQI in the army. If the LGBTQI person wants to join an Indian army, for example, to serve his nation, of course he should. I mean, he should be allowed, but it is not allowed, and it is not. I mean, it is bad because he's been discriminated on his sexuality, his sexual orientation, and I don't. I mean, we talk about right to choice. He is this person is denied right to choice, and that is not good. That
Okay.
is not fair.
Okay, I want actually I wanted to know more on that. The right, like how, in which provisions, the right which you have stated clearly, that, Article 14, 15, which are all
Yes,
about the, the ensuring the, the every citizen of the, not even citizen, every person who is in the territory of India should be treated equal before the law. Uh, okay, fine. Thank you. Can we have the respondent, court master?
The council seeks permission to begin.
Yeah.
The
Give me
council
one
se-
second. Give me 1 second. Yeah, please.
the council seeks permission to address the court as your lordship.
Yeah, please.
Much obliged, your lordship. This is Council 1, appearing on behalf of the respondent in the case of Rainbow Nonprofit Organization versus Republic of Replemento. Your lordship, issues number 1 and 2, which deals with the inclusion of LGBTQI members in the Hindu Marriage Act and Special Marriage Act, and the granting of civil rights will be handled by me. And the third and fourth issue, which deals with customs, traditions, as well as marital rights, will be handled by my co-counsel. If the council may commence arguments on issue number 1 with your lordship's due permission.
Yeah, please, please.
Much obliged, your lordship. The council would firstly like to begin the arguments by declining the arguments made by the petitioners. And your lordship, the first issue is that whether the Hindu Marriage Act 1955 and the Special Marriage Act 1954 can be read in a manner to include members from the LGBTQIA community. Your Lordship, we shall be answering to the negative, and we shall be doing so upon the following submissions. The Hindu Marriage Act 1955 and the Special Marriage Act 1954 requires a wife and a husband, or a male and a female, to fulfill the conditions for solemnizing a valid marriage. It also is specifically mentioned about the age limits of the bridegrooms and the bride in these impugned acts. Your Lordship, the Council humbly makes the submission that the terms husband and wife are used in various other legislations. For example, Section 498A of the Indian Penal Code, that is the cruelty by husband or his relatives to the wife, or Section 304B of IPC, that is dowry death, and also as well as the meaning of family under Order 32A, Rule 6 of CPC. So these provisions cannot be determined to include the people from LGBTQIA community. The inclusion of the members of this community in the Hindu Marriage Act and the Special Marriage Act wouldn't suffice the purpose, and instead has the potential to cause confusions in other legislations as well. It is once again brought to the attention of your lordship that if the Hindu Marriage Act and the Special Marriage Act were to read in a manner so as to include members from the community, then the structure of various other enactments will become futile, since it is not feasible to term one of the partners as husband and the other as wife. Also, the freedom guaranteed under Article 25 gives personal laws immunity from amendment or abrogation by the state. Therefore, it is against the customary religious practices to read the LGBTQIA community as a person under the Hindu Marriage Act and Special Marriage Act. Furthermore, in the famous case of Narasu Appamali, it was observed that personal laws are excluded from the definition of laws under Article 13 of the Constitution. The courts have adopted the non-interference approach in cases wherein it has asserted that Part 3 cannot have an effect on personal laws. By following this approach and by reading the provisions of Article 25 with a judgment, it is most humbly contended that the persons cannot include LGBTQI community under the impugned acts. If the lordship is convinced with the first issue, may I move to the second one?
I want to know in this that when you say about you say that regarding incorporation, the one of the reasons the LGBT community cannot be incorporated in the Hindu Marriage Act or Special Marriage Act based on the cruelty, the provisions of the 498A, and also the the section 34 of the where the cruelty of the woman is considered, because they being the same gender. But my question is that this rights regarding, because if you see section 498A, it is regarding, it's not from the only from the husband side. A girl getting a bride getting married to a house, and if she's getting threat from her in-laws, it might be a male or a female. they also get a, they are also liable to be prosecuted under section 498A, and also under the Domestic Violence Act, DV Act, which is domestic violence against women. So it is a woman oriented right. Here we are talking about same gender thing, same gender. When we say about same gender community, so how you say that, this woman right will be implied on the LGBT community?
Your Lordship, it is a woman oriented right, but also when the same sex couples are given the marital rights, they'll get married and eventually they'll be in a home environment involving in-laws. So there also exists a chance or probability of getting uh, of being domestically violent, of getting domestic violence and cruelty by the in-laws or the opposite or your partner.
So that will that be covering under the women protection? Because there are apart from the cruelty also, the marriage is about starting up of a family. There are other rights also, like giving having a joint property and all. The marriage is a very big difference. Other from this domestic violence thing, the marriage is also about, which they say about the right for the adoption and all. So you, as per your thing, the Hindu Marriage Act, under that, it's also not, it doesn't apply on the Adoption Act also.
Pardon, Your Lordship.
On the Adoption Act,
the Hindu Marriage Act.
no, if
Sorry,
somebody wants to adopt, in the when you are starting up a family and all, so will it be on the Adoption Act also, like? So it won't be applicable on the Adoption Act also.
It will be applicable on the Adoption Act also. That is why it is not feasible to amend all the legislations that are involving the family rights.
Okay. Yes, can we have the second point?
Indeed, Your Lordship. The second issue is that whether civil rights can be granted to the members of the community. Your Lordship, the Council most reverently submits that differential treatment does not per se constitute violation of Article 14. It denies equal protection only when there is no reasonable basis for the differentiation. Article 14 forbids class legislation, but it does not forbid reasonable classification of persons by the legislature for specific end. So, Your Lordship, the Council would like to invite your attention to the point that equality before the law or equal protection of law does not always mean identity or abstract symmetry of treatment. Distinctions have to be made for different classes and groups of persons, and a rational or reasonable classification is permitted, as otherwise it would be almost impossible to carry on the work of government of any state or any country. The classifications made by the government for not granting civil rights is reasonable, as the culture of the LGBTQI community is not recognized by our country and its culture. It is against the concept of Indian family unit, Your Lordship, and in the case at hand, the legislature has rightly considered an age-old religious practice of Hinduism, that is, the sanctity of marriage between a man and a woman, which is protected under Article 26, Clause B, where religious dominations are granted the right to manage its own affairs in matters of religion. The granting of civil rights to the community would be against the religious practices and would hurt the sentiments of the people and their faith in the system. Your Lordship, it is most humbly submitted that every action of the government must be informed by reasons as well as guided by public interest. It was observed in the case of Kasturi Lal Lakshmi Reddy versus State of Jammu and Kashmir. Also, it was also observed in the foreign case of Lawrence versus Texas that the promotion of majoritarian sexual morality is a legitimate state interest. Majority of the public has not come around to the concept of LGBTQA community being given rights similar to the heterosexual community, and this may lead to disruption of peace and public tranquility. Therefore, Your Lordship, in the interest of the majoritarian morality and principles, it is humbly contended that this is not violative of Article 14 and 15, and in order to protect the public interest and the affairs and interest of the customary religious practice, the civil rights shall not be granted to the LGBTQI community. If the Lordship is satisfied with the second issue.
I want to, ask you one thing. now you are saying that in this, if it is, you are saying that article 14 and article 15 does not cannot be granted, people cannot be given equal rights. What you had earlier also submitted under article 13 also, regarding that if it affects the religion sentiments, if I'm right, yeah, like you
Yes,
submitted that,
yes, yes.
it affects the religion sentiments, and due to the having effect on the religion sentiment, this rights cannot be implied on individual basis, because being up against the public interest.
Indeed, 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 your
Okay.
lord.
So my question is that latestly, there was amendment in the Muslim law where triple talaq was abolished.
Indeed.
That was a changed on the religion, stating that it is against the public policy. It was affecting the women community. It was against the woman right. So
Mhm.
don't you think it is like the court is having the jurisdiction given the the enactment done in the Muslim law board? Or do you think that for this we have to refer it to the legislature for amendment in the law, or this power is vested with the legislature?
Um, I think this power is vested with the legislature, so they'll have a more upper hand on knowing the interest of the public, and in deciding the matters, they'll have an upper hand on those things.
Okay, but what about that? This will already be the act been amended, given the the precedent of, as you are saying that there is a precedent of judgment. So they're given the precedent of the judgment and the the Muslim law board. So don't you think the court is also having the power going on the same lines, if they want, if they want on the exercising, given the individual rights to the LGBT community?
Indeed, I'm aware of the fact that in the Shabana Begum case, the Muslim women have been given the rights, but those are the majority of the cases where women are facing difficulties in getting maintenance. But the LGBTQ community is still a minority in our country, so right now we have to focus on the majority interest of the public.
Okay, can we have the next arguments?
Sure.
Yeah,
My co-counsel will be taking on from here. It was a pleasure pleading before your lordship.
same.
Counsel number 2 for the respondent seek permission to begin.
Yeah.
Much obliged. The counsel seek permission to address the bench as your lordship.
Yeah, please.
The council will be dealing with two distinct issues. The first issue is whether custom, traditions, rites, rituals form an exhaustive code. And the second issue is whether or not the LGBTQI community can be allowed to marry as per the rituals of their respective religion. Your lordship, the council seek permission to begin argument for issue number 1.
Yeah, please.
Much obliged. Your lordship, if you look at section 3 of Hindu Marriage Act 1955, custom is a rule which is followed for a long time and has obtained the force of law among people of the Hindu community. It also states that custom must be ancient, reasonable, and it should not be in derogation to the laws of the country. The custom as contested by the respondent has been followed since time immemorial, and in no sense it is against public morality. The council would like to draw your lordship attention to the intentions of makers of the constitution. It is understood that right granted under Article 25 is subject to public morality, public order, and public health. Furthermore, legal interference to customary practices is not acceptable by the society. The council would like to quote an example for the same. In Indian Young Lawyers Association and others versus the state of Kerala and others, famously known as the Shabrimala verdict, the judgment, which was made contrary to the rites and rituals, attracted hatred nationwide. So this points to the fact that the general public does not consider religious custom as immoral, and public morality is not offended by the religious custom. It is brought to the attention of this ordinal court that Article 25 and 26 of the Constitution protect not merely religious doctrines and beliefs, but also acts done in pursuance of religion, and thus it guarantees rites and rituals which are integral parts of a religion. The legislature cannot intervene, or we can say the intervention should be limited to to regulate an integral part of the religious faith and belief, unless it is barred by the only limitations to fundamental rights under Article 26b, that is, public order, morality, and health. So the given custom is protected under the Constitution, and there is nothing in the custom which demands neither a social reform nor does it contravene public order, morality, or health. Thus, the custom here is valid. And if your lordship is satisfied, the council seek permission to move on to arguments for issue number 2.
I think he's facing some technical issues. We'll wait for 2 minutes.
Sure.
So you're on mute. Please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, sorry, my internet connection has gone. So yeah, Shankar, please continue.
Your Lordship, should I begin from?
Yes. So yes, we were on your point 3 on the custom tradition, on the personal rights.
Yes, Your Lordship.
Okay. So on the section 3, I wanted to know on that if under, like, again I'm stating that regarding the personal law, this law amended under the Muslim Marriage Act, abolishing the triple talaq policy. So that was a right which was against the religion, act, what you have submitted in this also, right?
Yes, Your Lordship.
Okay, so tell me that how, so that also, giving a right to an LGBT community to, the custom, tradition, rights and ritual, because being an individual coming down from, a particular background, and also referring to the Special Marriage Act, because Special Marriage Act states that if, it is an intercaste marriage.
Yes, Your Lordship.
So presuming excluding the Hindu Marriage Act, and just limiting ourselves to the Special Marriage Act, how is going to affect the religion community if we just focus on the Special Marriage Act?
Your Lordship, the Council understands your concern. However, the Council would like to draw your attention to this particular fact that whenever our religious sentiments, which is deep rooted to the religious community, is affected, for example, let's say a Hindu community does not allow same-sex marriage. However, when a sudden change or law which says that this community should be allowed or should be read within this term causes a deep imbalance in the personal laws. So whenever we try to include a same-sex marriage or same-sex couples, this affects the religious sentiments to the base. So this cannot be accepted in a pluralistic country like the Republic of Replimento. Therefore, we cannot say that we can't just include them into these personal laws, because it purely affects the religious sentiments of whichever community it may be, Your Lordship.
So you are saying that in this, the custom and the religion rights are above than the individual rights.
It is, Your Lordship, I understand, Consul, but it is not necessarily that it should be above the individual right all the time. Suppose if there is a law that violates human rights, or like terrorism, it supports terrorism or taking away human lives. If such rituals or beliefs are being in place, it can be violated. It should be above the this individual right freedom should be above the religious freedom. However, in this particular case, this has been followed from a long time and it's time immemorial, and this itself, it's a valid custom. So when a religious custom like this, if you are amending it affects the religious sentiments so deeply.
So you are saying that if the rights what has been asked by the LGBT community is of extremist nature. When you talk about being like you are comparing them, with the their right with where terrorism word is being used. So I assume that you are stating that the rights which are being asked by the the Republic, the LGBT community is of extreme nature, which endangers the rights of the other people.
Your Lordship,
or the lives of the other people.
Your Lordship, I beg to differ, because what the Council suggests was, if any law that is while it is violation to that extent, such as terrorism, supporting terrorism or taking away lives, then individual rights should be below the constitutional rights or the religious rights.
So, Council, tell me one thing: how, if assuming the right are being granted, civil rights are being granted to the LGBT community regarding their exercising their matrimonial rights, how it is going to affect the other person's right to live, or is going to hamper their right to living, like who is not from a non-LGBT community?
Your Lordship, for this particular matter, I would like to draw your attention to Indian Lawyers Association and others versus State of Kerala case,
Okay.
where the women are being not being entered into a temple for a long time, and a judgment which was made against the rites and rituals that which allowed women to enter created a hatred nationwide. So, in a country like that, or in a country which is pluralistic and religious sentiments holds a greater value, when we are trying to include such laws, when we are trying to include such things which is against the religious sentiments, it can cause a deep hatred amongst the people. And that's the sole contention that the respondent would like to put forward.
Okay. You may proceed to your next argument.
Much obliged, Your Lordship. The second issue the council will be dealing with is regarding whether the members from the said community can be allowed to marry as per the rituals of their respective religions. It is humbly submitted before this honorable court that the members from LGBTQIA community cannot be allowed to marry as per rituals of their respective religion. Your Lordship, one of the strong pillars of the Indian culture spread over thousands of years is the sanctity of marriage. The institution of marriage is traditionally the union between man and a woman. Marriage between two individuals of the same gender is neither recognized nor accepted in any uncodified personal law or any codified statutory law. Therefore, allowing members from the LGBTQI community to be married as per rituals of their respective religions weakens the institution of marriages and causes imbalance to the personal laws of the country. Furthermore, if the said community is allowed to marry, then the family system, which is the bulwark of social culture, will be in shambles. The institution of marriage will be detrimentally affected, and also the fundamental rights under Article 21, which is subject to procedure established by law, and the same cannot be expanded to include fundamental rights for same-sex marriage to be recognized under the laws, which contradicts the same. Moreover, to add, no rights exist that can compel a state to recognize any relationship contrary to the definition of traditional marriages. The court can surely examine and strike down a state action or law on the grounds of Article 14 and 15. But in a pluralistic society as existing in the Republic of Replimento, the task of carrying out reforms affecting religious beliefs has to be left in the state hands of the state, and this must not be in violation to the sentiments of religion. As the culture of Republic of Replimento is rich in terms of the old tradition and clubbed with religious beliefs of people, the imbued matters must be left alone in order to enforce morality and public acceptance concerning the country's ethos. Your Lordship, if you are satisfied.
Again, I come down to the same thing, which in this submissions you are stating that the making any law is the judiciary doesn't have any the power under the constitution, and it is the legislature who is having the power to make a law. What you want to submit, counsel?
I beg to differ, but the council would like to say that the legislature have the power. It should be the power to add or include any law must be vested with the legislature. However, when it affects the religious sentiments to a deep extent, it should be left. It should be let alone.
So you are saying that we both have the power. The legislature is also having the power, and the judiciary is also having the power.
In respect to the matters which affects the religious sentiments, the respective states should be the one who have to take the decisions.
So you are saying that the law is a state matter, not a central matter.
Your Lordship,
it is governed under the state-wise, under the state, there being the local regarding the Hindu thing and everything is a state law.
Your Lordship,
and it should be governed like as you say that the state or is as a center as a entire.
Thanks for your concern, Your Lordship. However, the matters which is relating to religion, for example, as I quoted earlier, in the case of Sabarimala verdict, the state of Kerala would be the best who knows how the traditions and rites of the followings have been followed for a long year. So the state is the one who will have a better say as to religious matters subject to the particular state. So when the Supreme Court amended the law, Supreme Court allowed women to enter the temple, it created a huge imbalance in the personal laws in the state as well as in the country, which affected the religious sentiments of the people. People started getting violent on the basis of this particular law. So Drawing an analogy, the council would like to present that whenever a matter religious matter in particular particular to the religious sentiments, it must be the state legislature who has to have a say.
Okay, so see, because what I presume by the judgment of the India on the Sabarmati thing is that it is a procedural thing. Because as the temple is situated in Kerala, the Kerala High Court will be only having the jurisdiction, not on the basis on any religion or anything. It is a very simple provision of the law from where the dispute arises, from where the dispute is, where the dispute is arising from which particular jurisdiction. That jurisdiction, High Court or the District Court, they will be having the jurisdiction to entertain that case.
Indeed, your lordship.
It's not about on the customary that that you submitted that the state as it is a Kerala state and the Kerala High Court will be only having. It is on the jurisdiction of that particular court which is having that jurisdiction.
Indeed, your lordship.
Yeah. So so regarding that, my thing is the question is this, that again I am putting up a question that given the the already my reason of repeatedly asking on that there has been amendment in a personal law, like the family laws, and which is the Muslim law which govern a particular community. And when the amendment has been happened, so will it be not applicable to the other laws also, or regarding to the identical subjects? My question is this.
Your lordship.
And under which, if it is not, under which provision it should not?
Your lordship, constitutional morality requires harmonization or balancing of all rights such as Article 25 and 26. And to ensure that the religious beliefs of none are obliterated or undermined, the court must come into play. However, in this particular case, it suggests that the LGBTQ community should be included to represent a matter as a person under the Hindu Marriage Act and Hindu Succession Act. So when this happens, what affects is the religious sentiments. I repeat, religious sentiments. So when it's so deep that a country like this, when it gets affected by adding such a person to the Hindu Marriage Act or Hindu Succession Act, it affects them a lot. So here the notions of rationality cannot be invoked in the matters of religion by the courts. That's what the council would like to plead, your lordship.
Okay. So we conclude the arguments. I would like to congratulate you all. Very beautifully put your arguments. Very well versed with your subject, the subjects which you had given. Very good research done regarding, and good explanation on the provisions and explaining everything, and also on the questions which were being asked. You have stated in a very comprehensive way on how, why, and why not should your points should be taken on record. So yeah, very well done. Best of luck on your future endeavor, and yeah. I will be shortly sending the points.
So we have 2 minutes for rebuttal round.
Oh, rebuttal, yeah, please.
1 for question, 1 for answer.
Okay. So who's?
Yes, I may.
Yeah.
I would like to focus upon and draw your attention upon 3 things my esteemed respondent just referred to.
Mm-hmm.
They mentioned that the human emotions will come into disgrace when the LGBTQ community will be included. But as I recall, initially in India, female kids were killed infants, and that was a big procedure which used to been carried on for a long time. But even that came to stop under the Female Infanticide Prevention Act in 1870. So the law are not made for humans to confine or satisfy their emotions. They are made for the protection of the people. And the Article 14, which states that they cannot be discriminated upon any basis of caste, creed, sex. They are not on the basis of the emotions what humans have created for themselves. That is a taboo which is supposed to be broken, and LGBTQ community is supposed to be accepted as it is human and not derogatory to the community.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Your Lordship, the respondent would like to answer to that. The female infanticide aspect of that existed in our country is not based upon any human emotions, but it was purely patriarchal, and the concept of patriarchy that was deeply rooted in our country. So it had to be removed. But I don't think. But the council beg to differ on the in the case of LGBTQI community, where the emotions of the religion is has to be given consideration.
Okay. So it's about Anjali and who spoke earlier. Sorry, yeah, Ashmi. So I want to ask you both a question on that. You talked about on the law point. It is about omitting of the law, right? The
Yes,
submission
sir.
which were
Not
made regarding.
considering.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the public taboo is to be broken, was my point.
Okay, so public taboo and about the female thing. So in this provision, it's about the omitting, or it is about including enactment of some certain provisions in the law to suiting to the need of the the current situation of the LGBT, like giving the rights, respecting the existing rights of the people under the Hindu Marriage Act, and also respecting the rights of the persons who are not being included under those rights. What do you want to guys want to say on that?
So they also cited one of the cases, Lawrence versus Texas, and that was the case where the same sex was like not allowed, and that was. But after that, in 2015, there was a case, Obregal versus Hodges, which made same-sex marriage allowed completely, and they are allowed to even procreate and make a family together in Texas. So everywhere there is a progression where they are like putting this taboo behind them, and we have to start it. We cannot consider human emotions which are also deep rooted, and they are wrong. They are, LGBTQ is also one of the people, and that is not a disease which it is apparently considered to be, and that is what is need to be broken right now.
Okay, but ask me, it is about the Hindu Marriage Act. You have to understand that the issues what we are here is about Hindu Marriage Act, and under Hindu Marriage Act there are certain provisions which are there where it has been governed. There are certain rituals, and they're also about the bloodlines also, whom like existing up there, like who can get married and who cannot get married also.
Yes, sir.
So the provision what you are stating, it is about other country and with a different custom.
So that was just a counter to the case they had mentioned.
Okay.
And I would just like to say that these are all ancestral legislation, and we are moving forward in the 22nd century. We need to come up with the laws which protect each and every one of us as whole, and not differentiate on basis of just sexual orientation. They are not different from us. They just have different choices, which does not make them any less.
Okay. Anybody wants to comment on it?
Your Lordship, the Council thinks our country is not yet ready for such a big change. As of now, the majority of the public has not still come around the concept of the LGBTQI community given equal rights as the heterosexual communities. That will be all, Your Lordship.
Okay, fine. Okay, it was a good session, competition. Everybody submitted very well. And we will giving you you will be getting to know who has got what.
Thank you so much, sir. It was an honor to be here.
Yeah, it's the same here. Yeah, Purmaster, can we end it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can end it.
Thank you.
Thank you. You can end the meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, sir.